Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're embarking on a really fascinating journey, a deep dive into a case study sent in by one of our listeners. It's a profound exploration of one family's interconnected lives. It really reveals the often surprising and intricate impact of past actions on present circumstances. Our source material for this dive is incredibly rich. We've got personal accounts, a detailed family history, and some truly profound insights into the laws of karma. All of this comes together to sort of illuminate precisely why certain events unfolded as they did. What truly makes this case study compelling is how vividly it illustrates these principles. It's almost like watching a live demonstration of karma in action. You know,
Absolutely. And what's fascinating here is how seemingly disparate events, things you wouldn't think are connected, can be woven together by these intricate threads of action and consequence. Like you said, this isn't just a story. It's a powerful demonstration of how knowledge, when truly understood and applied, well, it illuminates the incredible complexities of life itself. We're really looking at a tapestry here woven across lifetimes and starting to see the patterns emerge.
okay, so let's begin with the father in this family. His early life was, well, quite remarkable. He started as a novice monk in Uthai Thani, that's a province in central Thailand, when he was just under 10 years old. Later, he moved to Wat Mahathat, which is a really prominent Buddhist temple in Bangkok, near Tafarachan. He became a full monk at 20, but then disrobed, left the monastic order at 22. Right after disrobing, he quickly found himself working for a high-ranking Chao Phraya. This was during the reigns of King Rama VI and the Seventh. For our listeners, a Chao Phraya was a very senior official, right? Like a royal minister or general holding significant power. And his father became so incredibly trusted by this Chao Phraya. I mean, to the point where he would often disguise himself and sit in the car where the Chao Phraya should have been. He was basically risking his life as a decoy.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine being trusted like that, like a literal human shield. It speaks volumes.
It truly does. That level of trust and loyalty, it really highlights his character and his resourcefulness, too. In fact, this trust led the Chao Phraya to assign him to accompany some French experts who were surveying Thailand. Their mission was to find sources of limestone, for cement. During this survey, the father visited Koh Si Chang, an island in the Gulf of Thailand, and through the Chao Phraya's goodwill, he acquired nearly half the island's southern land.
Wow, half the island.
Pretty much, yeah, the southern part. And then he solidified his ownership by personally supplying a massive amount of stone from the island. He transported it by boat up the Chao Phraya River, and it was used for building durable roads in Bangkok. It's actually quite an ingenious move, sort of cementing his ownership through contributing to public works.
So his trajectory just kept going upwards, seemingly unstoppable. His keen eye for detail, his sharp proofreading skills, they caught the attention of the Minister of Education back in 1932. He was invited to join the civil service, and he was even about to get the prestigious title of Kun Luang. And for those less familiar, a Kun Luang was a really high-ranking honorific title bestowed by the king. It signaled great esteem, significant responsibility. He was truly on a meteoric path.
But then, an abrupt and, well, devastating downturn. The 1932 revolution changed absolutely everything for him. The father lost his prestigious position, the promised title just vanished, and tragically his land on Koh Si Chang was seized. And on top of all that, he faced this massive lawsuit, something like 600 million over the stone he'd excavated for the Bangkok roads.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it all came crashing down around him with staggering speed.
It's just heartbreaking to hear about that suffering, especially after such a meteoric rise. But what's really compelling here, as you said, is how these seemingly unjust events, like the land seizure and that huge lawsuit, they aren't random. This is where understanding these profound laws of karma provides the missing pieces. Can you elaborate on the karmic threads connecting to his land loss and the lawsuit?
Exactly. That's the crucial part. The loss of his land and that massive lawsuit, they can be traced back quite specifically to a past life. In that life, he was a high-ranking official who initially pledged a large plot of land for a temple, a really generous act. However, the land's value shot up significantly when a road passed through it, and he regretted his pledge, so he actually took most of it back, donating only a small portion in the end.
Ah, okay, so the initial good intention was there, but then...
But then the regret and the partial retraction kicked in. This mixed action, a good deed, followed by regret, and taking most of it back, it made him a land king in one life. Yes, because of the initial pledge, but the regret and reclaiming led directly to the current loss of land and that massive lawsuit in this life. This case strikingly illustrates that even partial good deeds, if they're later regretted or partially undone, can manifest as proportional losses later on. It really highlights karma's meticulous balancing act. And there's more land karma, too. Additionally, in another past life, he was a royal advisor. He counseled a king to conquer neighboring kingdoms and seize their wealth for the treasury. So this act of advising the seizure of others' property, their wealth, led directly to his own property being seized and facing that demand for money in this lifetime.
That raises an important question, doesn't it? Even when fulfilling a duty, the laws of karma still apply.
It seems so, yes. The nature of the action itself, the consequences, the intention behind the advice, it's all weighed. It's not just about following orders. And as for his severe stomach ulcers in this life, those were attributed to the immense stress he was under, obviously. But karmically, they also link back to that past life role as an advisor in wars, where his counsel directly led to many deaths and, well, great suffering. The internal pain reflects the external suffering he caused.
That's quite a connection. And what happened after he passed away?
After passing, the father became a good-class Bhumadeva. That's a type of earth deity residing in what's called the Bhumadeva village. These are, benevolent deities often associated with specific places or nature. He did receive the merit sent to him by his family, which increased his divine possessions, his sort of heavenly environment. Though it's noted that his initial stress and distress, carried over from his experiences, had actually made it a bit harder for merits to reach him at first. But thankfully, they eventually did, improving his state.
Okay, so while the father's story really shows karma's, exacting nature, the mother's journey offers a strikingly different perspective. It sounds like hers is rooted more in devotion and love.
That's a great way to put it. Her path brings a different kind of insight to this whole karmic tapestry.
So tell us more about her.
Certainly. The mother was, by all accounts, an incredibly capable woman. She successfully raised 12 children, making sure they all received a good education. She was known for her immense goodness and very consistent merit-making, particularly offering food regularly at Wat Mahatha, where the father had trained, interestingly, and also at Wat Pho, another really significant temple in Bangkok. Her end was remarkably peaceful, especially given her later health issues. After suffering from dementia and then kidney failure, she passed away at 85. And the account says she was smiling contentedly on her bed.
That sounds like a peaceful transition.
It does. And here's another fascinating revelation, karmically speaking. Despite her own vast merits, which really could have taken her to much higher heavenly realms, her profound love and attachment to her husband created this powerful karmic pull. It led her to become a high-class Bhumadeva, specifically to join him.
Wow, so love and attachment can actually influence your destination, not just merit points.
Exactly. This really illustrates that spiritual destinations aren't solely determined by some kind of, merit ledger. They can be significantly shaped by the strength and purity of profound emotional bonds. And actually, her extensive merits also helped to uplift her husband's state as well. So they reside together now in a large, beautiful celestial palace, appearing young and radiant. She also continues to receive merits from her children, which enhances her divine possessions, her heavenly comforts.
That's such a touching detail. It really shows the enduring power of those deep bonds. And it gets even more poignant, doesn't it? The fact that the parents are aware of their daughter's current suffering are a listener, and they visit her, but they aren't worried because they can see the radiance of merit around her.
Precisely. They can perceive her spiritual state.
And this awareness of her radiance of merit leads us directly to her own remarkable journey, her story of illness, resilience, and spiritual discovery.
Exactly. Their perspective is that because she's making merits correctly and is a student of the dream school, they understand she's accumulated significant merit. They see she will go to an even better place than them after passing. For those perhaps new to this term, dream school is essentially a way of referring to a particular spiritual approach, focusing on deep meditation and understanding these karmic principles. So because they have this insight, her parents are completely at peace about her future. They know it's bright despite her current struggles.
Okay, let's turn to our listener's story now. She's currently 72 years old, and at 70, she received a devastating diagnosis: terminal lung cancer, a thumb-sized mass in her right lung. She experiences a lot of suffering, understandably, yet incredibly, she continues to attend this dream school daily. The diagnosis must have been shocking, especially since she never smoked in this life. It just begs the question, how could this happen? And this is where her past actions seem to illuminate her present challenge in a very direct, almost chilling way.
Exactly. Her terminal lung cancer, despite never smoking in this life, stems directly from a specific past life scenario. In that life, she was a wealthy male mine owner. And the key thing is, she severely neglected her workers' health. She forced them to toil in dusty, dangerous pits, even when they were sick, didn't provide proper care or conditions. As a result, many workers died from respiratory illnesses directly caused by the dust and the poor conditions she maintained.
Oh, wow. So that direct causation.
That direct causation of respiratory harm to others, yes. It manifested as lung cancer in this life, even without the modern trigger of smoking. It's a profound lesson, isn't it? That karmic debt isn't always paid back in exactly the same way, but often through a manifestation that directly reflects the type of harm caused, even if the present circumstances, like not smoking, seem unrelated. To alleviate her pain now, the guidance is clear. She should focus intensely on all the merit she has made and on the triple gem that is, the Buddha, the Dharma, his teachings, and the Sangha, the monastic community.
Okay, and what about her other challenges, like lacking a permanent home or land and being cheated financially?
Right. Those also have specific karmic roots. The lack of a permanent home or land connects to past lives where she offered very little land or permanent structures for temples or community benefit. While she made consistent small donations, they weren't substantial in terms of providing land or buildings for the long-term use of others. So this karma results in her having enough money generally, but lacking that sense of permanence, no home or land of her own. Furthermore, in another past life as a wealthy person, she apparently used to cheat villagers, buying land from them very cheaply, taking advantage. And she was also described as a tight-fisted debtor, meaning she was slow to pay her own debts, but quite aggressive in collecting money owed to her.
Ah, the double standard.
Exactly. And this specific karma resulted in her being cheated in this life, like being tricked into buying useless land. The example given was like a military area, somewhere you can't actually use. Losing vast sums, the description was like selling Sanam Luang, which implies losing something incredibly valuable, like trying to sell off a major public landmark in Bangkok. Impossible, right? So a total loss. And naturally, also having many debtors refuse to repay her in this life. It's a direct reflection.
Yet, despite these really significant challenges, she receives excellent care and support from her siblings when she's ill. There's a positive side, too.
Yes, and that's important. This support isn't random either. It's a direct result of her own past life actions, of consistently supporting her relatives. It's a clear instance of good karma returning, It demonstrates that even when facing great difficulties, positive actions from the past can manifest as vital support systems when you need them most.
That makes sense. And what about her spiritual path? She started with one type of meditation, achieved something significant, then switched paths before returning. How does karma explain that?
Right. Her spiritual journey is quite interesting. She initially practiced a meditation technique at 29. It's a very precise, internally focused technique. And she experienced intense piti, or rapture, with tears. It's a powerful, blissful sensation that can arise in deep meditation. She was even told she'd achieved Jnana 11, which in that tradition indicates a significant stage of insight knowledge, a real milestone. Now, the explanation given is that in the past, she really enjoyed studying and practicing various forms of Dharma, the Buddha's teachings. She had this habit, this inclination. This led her to explore other spiritual paths first in this life. However, the merits she had previously accumulated with the group, specifically referring to Wat Phra Dhammakaya, ultimately guided her back to them. So this tendency isn't seen so much as a negative karmic consequence, but more as reflecting her deep intellectual curiosity. Maybe even what some might call being intellectually stubborn or opinionated, because her focus has always been strongly on wisdom and understanding. She is described as rich in Dharma knowledge, precisely because she prioritized studying Dharma over making, say, large or consistent material donations in the past. And this preference is reflected in her current life circumstances and spiritual journey.
That's a fascinating distinction. Her focus shaped her wealth, just in knowledge rather than material things. Okay, let's look quickly at some of the supporting roles in this family tapestry. The younger sister, the 10th sibling, has been a constant source of help for our listener, especially financially. This sister sounds amazing, an excellent student, got a scholarship abroad, and was so beloved by her host Western family, they treated her as their own daughter, even leaving her an inheritance.
Yes, and the sister's good fortune is explained as a direct result of her past actions, but it's quite specific. In previous lives, she made many substantial donations, specifically within Buddhism. She consistently supported her relatives, and she diligently cared for her parents. These particular merits, acts of profound generosity, combined with compassionate care for family, created a powerful karmic seed for being loved and cared for by others, even those outside her immediate biological family. This led to reaping benefits like being treated as family by her Western hosts and receiving that unexpected inheritance, It goes beyond just general good luck. And it's also revealed that our listener and this supportive sister were actually relatives in a past life too, which helps explain why they continue to support each other so strongly now. The connection persists.
That really ties it together. And finally, let's talk about that long-standing friendship that's been a spiritual anchor for our listener. This younger friend from Cassette has been a Kalyanamit, a spiritual friend or guide to our listener for over 40 years, since way back in 1957. She's consistently guided our listener spiritually and was the one who actually introduced her to what? Fra Dhammakaya.
And their connection runs incredibly deep. They've apparently been supportive friends for many, many lifetimes. With this younger friend, often serving as the spiritual guide, stretching back even to the previous Buddhakantara, which is the vast period of time between the appearance of two fully enlightened Buddhas. They consistently invited each other to make merits over these lifetimes. Our listener, however, is described as tending to make merits according to her mood consistently, yes, but not always fully, or with maximum enthusiasm, perhaps. As we discuss, she prefers studying Dharma, digging into the knowledge, over making large material donations, which again explains her current wealth of Dharma knowledge, but relatively less material wealth compared to, say, her sister. It's a fascinating balance, isn't it? How our deep-seated preferences, even within spiritual practice itself, can shape our karmic outcomes across different areas of life.
It really is. So reflecting on all this, what does this all mean for you, the listener? This incredible journey through one family's story truly highlights how personal actions, from grand gestures like donating land to subtle intentions like regret, across lifetimes they just echo through existence, profoundly shaping our destinies.
Exactly. This reaffirms the profound message that the principle of karma isn't about some predetermined, unavoidable fate. It's really about the direct, although sometimes complex and delayed, consequences of one's own actions and intentions. It powerfully underscores the critical importance of mindful living, being aware of our choices, and also continuous merit-making in all its forms,
Right.
whether that's through material donations, sharing knowledge and wisdom, or dedicating time to spiritual development and meditation. And maybe this raises an important question for everyone listening. How might understanding these intricate karmic patterns, seeing these connections laid out, reshape your own perspective on the inevitable ups and downs of life? Could it perhaps even illuminate some of the hidden threads in your own experiences?
That's an excellent question to ponder. This deep dive offers such a powerful lens, doesn't it? A way to view not just their lives, but perhaps even your own experiences and the sheer interconnectedness of everything. Keep exploring, keep learning.